Hello. I Hi. I changed my wallpaper to Shadow Milk Cookie. Valid. I need to update my wallpaper too. Right now it's just like selfies of myself, which is kind of cringe. So I'm gonna literally just make a collage of like all like fandoms I'm in and stuff. Right now I'm just gonna read Hall 17, an II fanfic, because this is what I've been doing. There's like 6 parts to this. Technically 8, because then there's like the 0.5s, because like those were like continuation ones. So yeah. So I'm just gonna do the recap. Last time on Hall 17, Tissues woke up in the room that he was kidnapped in, and then Trophy uh had a photo of Testu the night before Tissues was abducted. So Trophy, thinking that it's a lead, which it was, decided to do something about it, but like by himself. Literally no help from the other search team, because he thought that people would think that they would understand and stuff. But let's be real, if you had evidence to some sort of like if if you see a person the next day and someone like looking at them while they were like alone, the person's alone, and then the person is looking at them through the hallway or something, and you see that the person is looking at the person who's alone, I think you could assume that they're going to be kidnapped by them, especially if they go missing the day after. So yeah. So that, and then Trophy, what he thought was a smart idea, he what did he do again? Oh yeah, he decided to go by himself to the vending machine, which is where the other kidnapped people are. And surprise, surprise, he got abducted too, because he went there alone with literally nothing but a camera, a notebook, a pen, and a bag, which is holding all those items. So yeah. And now we're here, and that's what we missed, or someone missed, on Hall 17. And this is chapter 19. I think we're just gonna read 19 and 20, and we'll see what we do after that. And I don't know if I should read the log, since I already read it when it was last stream, so I'm just gonna start here. The increasingly familiar sound of the door clicking echoed around the room. Lightbulb watched as OJ and Soap went to their respective places in the room, following the usual routine of staying quiet until test tube's footsteps were long gone. There were some noticeable changes. For one, some of the Lightbulb's scars around her stomach had reopened a little from the hit she took the night before. OJ was some sort of lavender color now, his contents looking almost foamy, but did not have a small did have a small patch on where his rim was previously chipped. Soap had some bandages around her head, but nothing too bad. "Do you mind if I ask a question about what happened when you were taken out of the room?" OJ said, looking down at himself again. Where they were starting the convers so that's where they're starting the conversation. "Do you mind if I ask a question about what happened when you were taken out of—" Oh, I already read that. I'm so silly. Blah. I thought I scrolled down. Okay. "Most of it was just waiting, like I do here here anyways. Lightbulb said, fiddling with her blanket that had thankfully avoided any bloodstains. Though some days there were there was though some days ago there was tissues. Like the contestant, Soap said, already jolting things I'm messing up today, sorry. Jotting things down in her journal. Lightbulb wanted to bring up why she writes everything, but quite remembering what she said last time, though figured there would be a better time to bring up the topic. Yeah, I think she's bringing new people down here again. There's two. I know, at least I think two. Who's the other one? Lightbulb paused at the questions. She looked at Soap with a strained expression, not thinking she'd like the answer. Trophy. Oh, Soap said, though didn't say anything further. Lightbulb couldn't help but notice her posture turned into more of a slump. Not much, other than that, though. My dog's here. She's messing with the iPad. You can't do that. Don't do that. Hey, hey, get your paws away from the iPad. I don't even know how you know how to use an iPad. Who taught you that? Probably me. I don't know how I taught you though. So, okay. Anyway, not much other than that though. Just making sure I can eat again, Lightbulb said, regretting telling Soap so bluntly almost immediately afterwards. So, what happened with you guys? She said, changing the subject. Same old. Well, besides the obvious, OJ said, looking back down at the light foam inside of him. Okay, I don't even know what she's doing with me at this point. It's not much of a difference. Just the same problem with the soda. It's uncomfortable, he sighed. Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. Okay, sorry about that. He sighed. Well, it's better than nothing. I guess. What about you, Soap? I don't know what she needed for me for, Soap said. My head hurts from it, though. I almost feel like OJ's describing. Almost feel like how OJ's describing. I have a bit of an off-topic question, Lightbulb said. What's inside of you? I can't quite tell. Good question. I wish I knew the answer, OJ said, crossing his arms. I wouldn't be surprised if Test Tube didn't know either. Sometimes it feels like she does whatever she what sometimes it feels like she does whatever with these tests. Lightbulb nodded, still trying to think of what it could be. Then she brought then she thought of something. She hopped sorry. She hoped she was wrong. She barely even wanted to check, but she couldn't just be left answerless. Soap, is there anything that comes out when you use your nozzle thing? The one on top of your head? Oh, my pump? Soap said, gesturing towards it. Well, yeah, it's sort of where I got my name. Soap comes out. Could you try pumping it? Well, normally I'd say no, but since I have to have stuff for emergencies, Soap said, but I guess there's no harm in cleaning a little. This place could use a bit more shine anyways. She placed one of her hands on top of her head and the other stretched out to catch what came out. She pushed down the pump, and it was orange. She froze, looking down at her hand and the floor. It was orange. Lightbulb and OJ looked, all three of them taking a moment to process it. Then they all looked at OJ, even OJ himself staring back at his contents. Oh, that's just messed up. She put OJ's OJ inside of soap and then got rid of soap. So, oh, they switched. Oh, that's disgusting. They switched. So basically, I think okay. This is what happened, I think. The stuff inside OJ right now is the stuff that used to be inside of soap. Soap. And then inside of soap now is orange juice, which what used to be inside of. Oh, that's just wrong. That's so wrong. Oh no. What the heck? Did test tube think switching their insides would just change their personalities? What the heck? That's so wrong. Oh. Lippo felt like she was going to be sick. So that's what, she tried to say, but trailed off quickly. No one spoke, all needing a moment to process what this meant. Lightbulb didn't expect for her to prefer her thoughts from yesterday over anything, but she welcomed them this time, wanting to think about anything but that. Apple laid down on her back, kicking her legs in front of her. There wasn't a lot to do at the I can't pronounce this right. Purgatory Mansion. Once it became your house, at least for normal objects. Apple didn't have that problem. Well, in a way, she did, but she always got past it. Belle was doing something with her makeup again, and Marshmallow was beside her on the couch, watching whichever old movies were still running on the outdated television. Apple, I could do a Marshmallow impression, so. Apple, how many times do I have to tell you to sit properly on the couch? Marshmallow said. If you want to do your leg thing, please do it on the floor. Getting new furniture ordered is nearly impossible on this island, and this thing isn't in its prime. Okay, Apple said. Or I think she was more upset, so. Okay, Apple said, rolling onto the floor with a thud. And what does prime mean? It's in its best form or condition, Marshmallow informed, eyes on the television. It was some old cartoon with a carton of milk as the main character. Apple stared at it, not processing the words, but more taking in the characters and art style. She liked how it looked. Has she seen this one before? Ring ring. Apple shut up at the noise of the phone, caught slightly off guard. Marshmallow didn't have any reaction to it, instead reaching for it and answering it. She put it on speakerphone, just to avoid confusion from Apple. Hello, who is this? She asked, turning the television off. Hello, hey Marshmallow, it's me. Sorry. Hey Marshmallow, this is Paper, a voice answered. Oh, hey Paper, I'm guessing this has to do with the new tissue situation, Marshmallow said, making herself more comfortable on the couch than she had been before. Apple sat there with her legs crisscrossed on the floor, listening into the conversation. Not exactly, Paper said, anxiety creeping into his voice. There's a fifth case now, but hadn't tissues just God, continue, Marshmallow said, frustrated. She placed a hand on her head. Trophy's the fifth victim. He was roommates with Tissues, so we think there might be a bit of coloration. But we're still investigating both cases, Paper exclaimed, voice slowly unraveling the more he talked. We're also putting the hotel on lockdown until further notice for the residents' safety. We were wondering if you and Apple would like to stay with us until we catch who's doing this. Just a moment, I need to think about it. Take all the time you need, Paper stammered, shaky exhale audible from the phone afterwards. Great, more missing people. Apple didn't seem to understand what Marshmallow and Paper were talking about. still kicking her feet in the air. As much as Marshmallow didn't like being in such an easy position to be kidnapped when there were more missing cases about, she also knew nobody knew where she and Apple lived. Of course, the kidnapper could be anywhere and could have seen anything. For all Marshmallow knew, Apple and Bo were behind all of this. Not that she thought that would be frankly ridiculous and near impossible. That was in quotation marks, so yeah. Hi, Fire! Trophy got kidnapped, if you remember. So, yeah. Oh, we're close to the end of this chapter. Besides, if she went back there, she knew the hotel wouldn't want them to run away again. Bo would also most likely get lonely again, and it's not like it would be any safer if the kidnapper was most likely living in the hotel as well. I think we're going to continue staying here, Marshmallow said. Ah, right, I understand, Paper said, a little caught off guard by the sudden talking. Well, we're always here if you need we're always here if you feel unsafe at your current place. Right, Marshmallow said. Is there anything else you need to talk about or oh no, just that. I hope you have a good day wherever you are, Paper said before hanging up. Marshmallow sighed, putting the phone back on the coffee table. She knew he meant well, but it was pretty easy to see the stresses on effect him. It's not like it wasn't expected, though. He had everything dumped on top of him so suddenly from day one. She couldn't help but feel a bit bad for him. What was that about? Apple asked, legs falling to the ground, a little too roughly for Marshmallow's comfort, given the mansion's old, worn out floorboards. Nothing much, just stuff to do with the search team. Oh, can you turn the TV back on then? Apple said, still incapable of reading the room, reading the floors. Okay. Apple said, still incapable of reading the room after all these years. Sure, Marshmallow said, not caring at this point. She wasn't going to drag Apple down with her. She grabbed the remote and turned the television back on. It was still on the same cartoon. 5 people have gone missing since the anniversary, and the only leads have gotten led nowhere. The only thing keeping them from being presumed dead was Mi Phone 4's recovery app. She had to take her she had to keep herself from sighing again. This was getting old quickly. Oh no. And that was chapter I'm gonna read chapter 20 and then I don't know if uh or like maybe I read another one. It all depends. So yeah. Okay. Uh There's a fine line between consciousness and rest, yet Trophy managed to linger on it. He wasn't aware of anything going on around him, not bothering to move at all. There was a high pitched ringing in his ears, but other than that, he couldn't feel anything. He wasn't exactly thinking either, not doing anything as his thoughts desperately tried to gather themselves together so he could wake up. He slowly opened his eyes, a dim light that barely reached the ceiling entering his vision. It was easy to adjust to. Then it became apparent to him. The floor beneath him, the ringing fading away as his body left the air like state it had been in before, exchanging itself for something much more uncomfortable. Trophy groaned as he sat up, or at least tried to. The moment he did, his handle panged, the pain flooding back to all too suddenly. Now that he was aware it was there, however, it wasn't too much of a strangle, I'm sorry. Don't got mm, um right vision right now. I wear glasses and I don't know where they went, so now yeah. How many chapters left? There's 55 chapters and we're to chapter 20. So I think 35. 35 chapters. That is, I think. Let me see if there's like any breaks or something. No, just like straight chapters, like so far, chapters so far. So 35 chapters. And if I keep reading 2 to 3 chapters every time, I don't know how many parts there would be to this. Um, there would be, so far, if I just read consistently, uh, let's just say that the math is I read, um, 4 chapters every video. So there's 5 parts. So if we read 4 to 3, I don't know what the math would be. Okay, I'm not doing math right now. It's reading time. Reading 35 more chapters of these characters suffering. For real, though. Okay. By the looks of it, he was in an empty room with nothing but a door and a collected themselves, pulling him into complete awake. Trying to break into the lab, and everything that happened afterwards. Technically speaking, he broke in successfully. It was that one door he had let his guard down for. He had made a mistake. He let himself get adjusted to everything going on. He should have stopped swinging with such little caution. He stood, no, beating himself up mentally over it. Wouldn't fix anything. He'd just need to find a way to do it again. The doors weren't the strongest anyways, even if they were metal. He was metal too. He could break down a couple of doors until he found something else to break them with, right? Trophy looked around. The room was fairly spacious, but that was most likely due to the lack of anything. There was some yellow ah, there was some yellow carpet and cream cream colored walls, but overall nothing. The door itself was also metal, and when Trophy tested it, it was locked. Great. He could try breaking down the door later, when his limbs didn't ache from the failed attempt yesterday. Mhm. My dog's here, and she is licking my hand while I scroll, and I can't have her do that, so I gotta move her. Ah, oh my gosh. Okay, she's giving me kisses right now. Okay. I don't need that right now, Bella. Sit. Thanks. Sit. Thanks. Sit, please. Okay, I'm just gonna continue. There was also a red stain where he was laying down before. It didn't take a genius to figure out it was blood, but he didn't care. He knew he wasn't in the best state anyways. He stood with his back to one of the walls, wincing when one of his handles, particularly the one hurt that hurt more than the other, hit the wall. He shook it off. It was just a bit of pain, nothing he couldn't deal with. It didn't feel like it was in a good condition either. Trophy didn't know much about medicine stuff, but he didn't hear something about applying pressure to the wound or something along the lines of that. He was pretty sure that was for open wounds, but his handles might have not healed properly. Besides, how much time has passed since he was caught? Hi, dog. My dog's name is Bella. Okay, that was kind of creepy. When I said that, she was just. Every time I look at her, she just acts like I didn't. She's doing that thing where she raises her ears when I'm not looking at her, and then when I do, down. Oh my gosh. Okay. He reached for he reached one of his hands to the handle, though decided against it when the pain worsened as soon as his hand made contact with it, reacting to it with a grimace. Well, that didn't do anything. He stood around for a while, leaning against the wall, as he procrastinated on trying to the door down. Arm still complaining from destroying so much last night. Was everyone else being kept in those uh, obsolete, I don't know how to say that, obsolete rooms? And why was Lightbulb so Trophy's mind failed at finding a word to describe her. He let his mind wander, wondering how everyone else was doing, but his expression was unnerving. He let his eyes close again, just trying to rest so he could get out of this room eventually. The only thing that snapped him out of reality was a sudden twinge of pain snapping through his handle. While the pain lessened after a moment, it still stung an ungodly amount afterwards, yearning a reaction from Trophy. And this chapter is called Blackmail, so I don't even know what's gonna happen after Trophy's pain. While he couldn't see how it was doing, he knew it wasn't going to get better without him doing anything. He may as well try the pressure idea, even if it would hurt like a bitch. That's what it says, I'm sorry. He braced himself, subconsciously holding his breath. He reached, confusing him. He swiped through a couple more times. No, he was definitely swiping where his handle should be. He had a feeling he knew what happened, but didn't want to look. It didn't matter if he didn't want to, though. He had to make sure. That's how things worked. He looked down at the ground directly below him, heart dropping once he did. Blood, more blood than there had been just when he woke up. Even though he was in an entirely new room in a new place of he was in an entirely new place of the room. Some of it still dripped down his body, its scarlet coloring almost complementing his golden tone. It might have been a nice sight to someone who was numb to blood, and the centerpiece of it all, his left handle lying right next to his foot. Trophy couldn't look, but it he couldn't stop looking either. He reached for the side of his head, flinching when he first touched the new nubs on the side where his handle should be. He brought his hand back down. It was covered in scarlet, blending almost beautifully into his skin. For a moment, all he could do was stare. But what else was he supposed to do? He slowly sat down, backsliding against the wall as he did, careful to avoid his handle. He felt his throat close up, but it's not like he had a need for words anyway. All he needed to do was stay strong. They had boats. As soon as he broke out, they'd go onto one of the boats like they did when they went to Inanimate Insanity headquarters. There'd be hospitals there. They could reattach it, and all would be said and done. He just needed to shake it off, maybe walk around the room a little, as a distraction. He just needed a moment to get used to it. That's all. Oh, Trophy, you don't even know if you're gonna make it out of here. So far, no one has died. 20 chapters in, and no one has died. So I think possibly, I'm not gonna jinx us. Actually, I'm not gonna say it because I might jinx this and everyone will just die suddenly. So I'm not gonna jinx it and say that. But you know what I was gonna say. Yeah. Okay, fire. Bye bye. Pepper sat on her bed, looking at Salt's bed across from her. They had both decorated their beds, making sure they were matching. It was a bit of a comfort now, but it didn't help much. Pepper, we don't gossip about this situation. That's like going too far, Salt reprimanded, standing next to her bed as well. It's not gossip. It wasn't gossiping, Salt. Pepper tried to explain. I actually saw him with the evidence, and I think he headed towards Test Tube's lab last night. I just want to help, I promise. Yeah, I'm not having it. Salt said, crossing her arms. I'm sorry, Pepper, but this is just wrong. Even I know not to spread rumors about something as serious as this. Just cut it out and apologize before everybody else gets the wrong opinion of you. I'm not going to apologize for something that wasn't wrong. I'm not lying. Why won't you believe me? Aren't we best friends? We are now, but if you're not taking 5 disappearances seriously and it begins affecting my reputation, I might just have to drop you, Salt said. Pepper looked in her expression for any sign of jest, but she was dead serious. Are you trying to blackmail me into apologizing? Pepper said, astounded. If you want If you want to look at it that way, sure, Salt said, walking up to her. Listen, Peps, I just want the best for us. I love you. I would never dream of having to break our BCFF status, but right now, what you're doing is utterly stupid. I'm doing this for us. Now come on, just go apologize before you ruin your reputation completely. I cannot say reputation. I said it that time, so yippee. Pepper blinked, back tears, looking down at the floor. She felt Salt put her hand on her shoulder, sitting next to her on the bed. Pepper shook it off, almost immediately, looking away from her. She didn't want to lose her best friend over some petty misunderstanding, but so are you going to say sorry? Sorry, Pepper said, though it didn't come out as sincere as she hoped it would. Not to me, silly. To the others. Like the search team. You tried to start the drama with them after all. Pepper bit her tongue, but wiped her eyes away. Nonetheless, she sat up, taking a couple shaky breaths. As much as Pepper hated the way Salt went through with it, she was right. If Pepper continued trying to tell the others, they'd just stop listening to her. She had gotten their suspicions up already, and trying harder to convince them would just lower them. Besides, she did. Pepper looked in the mirror. Her eyes were a little puffy, but nothing too bad. She hadn't worn thank God, because otherwise it would be running down her face. She wiped her eyes on the back of her hand one more time for safe measure before walking outside. While Salt didn't walk right beside her, Pepper could still feel her following. Just a breath. Glass door and closing it gently behind her. Oh, hi there, Pepper, Paper said, voice far from thrilled to see her. uh, ah, sorry. Hello, I am late again. Grr, it's okay. I'm not dying. Okay. For a moment, Pepper just stood staring. Oh, wait, no, I didn't read it. Is there anything you need from me? For a moment, Pepper just stood staring. She didn't feel like she messed up that badly, and she didn't want to apologize for it. She still wanted to prove herself, especially to Salt. Then the words hit her. She took a deep breath, knowing exactly what she wanted to say. I'd like to join the search team. Yippee! Instead of apologizing for doing what she thought was right, she actually said that she wanted to help. Because that is what she wanted to do. And that's great for Pepper. I like Pepper in this so far. I want to see more Pepper in the remaster. I think we deserve more Pepper because we only had her and Soul for one episode and then a little bit of screen time on another episode. and then we only get like little sections of them in like season 1, and then in the remaster, I guess we do get a little bit more of them, kind of. So yeah, and that was it. So summary time for the 2 chapters we've read, chapter 19 and chapter 20. 19 chapter 19 Orange and chapter 20 Blackmail. Summary: Trophy was kidnapped. He's and Lightbulb was brought back to her room even after she got hit in the stomach, where she was already like pretty much dying from the pain already. So that didn't make things any better. And then Soap and OJ switched liquids, which is just really messed up. And Trophy's handle got ripped off and now he's bleeding. And now he's in an isolated space. And then at the end of this chapter, Pepper was trying to tell the search team about test tube and warn them, like, though, what you should have done, Trophy. Like, you should have done, Trophy. But it's fine. And now that was it. So I don't even know if anyone's watching right now. But thank you for like stopping by or just like listening to me read Hall 17. I'll update the title because I feel like the reason why no one joined is because of the title, because I usually have like a better like title, but this was kind of rushed because I don't know, kind of lazy to actually type the whole thing. I'll fix that, and I hope. Actually, I'm not gonna do another Wattpad Wednesday until like summertime. Like, I'm not doing another Wattpad Wednesday. This was the last Wattpad Wednesday, so let me put it right here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I didn't mean to put that up. I don't even know if I still have that, but yeah. This is the last Wattpad Wednesday until further notice. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop reading the series, I think. Or like not gonna read it well. I'm gonna definitely continue like this reading out loud and stuff. But like for right now, until like the end of May, I'm definitely not doing another Wattpad Wednesday. Not saying that I'm not gonna not read the series out loud. I'm just saying I won't do another Wattpad Wednesday this month. So yeah, that's sad news, I think. And I'm also uh I don't know what else. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I still need like stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that was it. And I'm trying to stall to make this like 40 minutes or something. So yeah. The next one is called Assistance, and that's where we're gonna leave off for right now on Hall 17. So thank you for watching, and I hope to read this out loud sometime. I don't know when though. So this is gonna be like I don't know, like one of the last times so far for this month at least for Wattpad Wednesday. So yeah. So thank you for watching, and that's it.